We are going to download photos today. You're going to need a card reader. You can see by this image that there's many card readers available. Some are really small, some are larger, some do just compact flash, some do just the SD cards, some do both. Your computer may have an SD card slot as well, and you might not need one of these devices. It just depends. So take a look at your computer. The Macs at school have SD card readers that you can just pop your SD card into it. However, at school, a lot of those computers get a lot of use and abuse, so sometimes they don't work. So it's a good idea to have this as a backup. You can see the prices start at $11.99 or even less, and they can go up to, I think, 60 and 70 bucks. What are you getting for the more money? A lot of times it's a faster card reader. So that's something to think about. If you're doing lots of files, big files, the faster is most of the time better. So you're going to need one of these devices to get the images off the card and onto the computer. Next up, we're going to go to the bridge. And the bridge is where we're going to work from to download our photos. So I already connected my card reader and plugged it in. So from the bridge, I'm going to come up here to this little camera icon. It says Get Photos from Camera. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get the photos from the camera. So I'm going to click on that. And this window comes up. You have a standard dialog box. And that's probably how it'll come up initially for you. But let's go to the advanced dialog box down here on the bottom left corner. It gives you a preview of the images. Notice all of my images are the same. I was doing a little test for another class, so that's why this is what we have. Sometimes this doesn't pop up and you have to come here and pick the card that you want to work from or refresh the list. Mine popped up right away. Now, our save options over on the right-hand side. And we're going to download all of these, so we're just going to leave them all checked. So, the save options. You hit choose, and you want to pick where to save these to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save them on my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder, and that's over here on the left, and I'm going to create the date that these images were made. So it's 9-03-2017, and it was my ISO. Nope, it was my AP test, aperture test. So that's what it's going to be. So you could title this with the date and whatever your first project is. 100 images maybe. Down the road it might be mood. A lot of times for my personal work, when I'm naming the folders, I do the date and location. Then we hit create. And we hit open. So now we've picked a place for those files to go. Now, by default, I think one of these comes up. I like to pick none because if you have multiple days of shooting on this card, it'll make a little folder for each date. That might be handy for sometimes, but I would rather just go through and make those folders myself later. I think it's a little too chaotic. So I go with none, so I'm not creating any subfolders. I'm not renaming here as well, so we just leave those blank. When this is done downloading to the folder, I want it to open the bridge so I can see what they are. You can convert to DNG, and DNG is Adobe's digital negative specification. We're not going to do that right now. We'll talk about it this semester, though. We do not want to delete the original file, so we leave that off. Now, here's the other bonus to doing the download this way. Save copies to, and we can pick another folder. So I'm going to pick another hard drive. So I have my LaCie here, and I have my Protz CSN 2017. No name is actually the card that the images are on. So I'm going to pick my LaCie. Actually, I'm going to pick Protz CSN 2017. I'm going to navigate to where I want to save this. I'm going to save it into my 112 because that's for the class. And I'm going to call it AP Test 2017. And I'm going to create a folder. And I'm going to hit open. So now my files are going to my hard drive on the computer, and they're going to a separate hard drive. So I'm backing up twice right at the get-go. Now, if you have none selected here, there won't be a template to use, but I've created a basic metadata template, which is just my website, and it could be your name. So you'd want to put your name in here. If you have a website, put your website in there. And then your name, copyright, and the date. The copyright symbol on a Mac is Option G, something you might want to write down. And on a PC, it's Alt 0169, Alt 0169 to create that copyright symbol. One thing to remember is every year you need to update this. So at the end of 2017, I'll have to make it 2018. At this point, all we do is hit Get Media. And all those files are going to copy over. And it takes a little bit of time. So, see you in a minute.